Finally. Well, YouTube, I have some comments. I'm not sure what's going on with the live, but every time I try to open the live, it glitches out and my phone just closes out of the YouTube app. And that's pretty whack. Pretty disappointing. And basically, it was every time I tried to get my live stream customized so that I could take, like, say, a thumbnail photo or edit what the title says. Yep, glitches out, closes me out of the app. So come on, YouTube, step it up. Today we're gonna do something special that surprisingly I have never done before, but we're gonna do a live stream while I do wire wrapping. And we haven't done what we haven't done in a while is earrings. So let's do a pair of earrings. I tend to not do them on the videos because they're super simple already. They don't really require a lot of instruction, but I think that's why it would be perfect for me to do it for the live. And who knows, maybe I'll just get into the wire wrapping flow and we can do a bunch of earrings, or maybe we'll do earrings and then something else. We'll see. We'll just let the creative flow decide. So I've already selected my 2 carnelian beads here. And next, what I'm gonna need to do is grab some charms. So this is my clearly labeled mismatch sets. And if you're wondering, well, what does that mean? Let me show you. So in here is a mismatch set. You can see for somebody with who's into feet, I've got some feet charms. So you can see they're not exactly the same charm, but they're both on the same theme of feet. And we're gonna get into it. So let's see, with some silver, we're gonna do some silver wire. So I grab my zebra wire. And this is, for all my earrings, I do the 20 gauge wire. If you've seen my channel, you know. I do 24 gauge and 20 gauge wire is what I work with. Really, I think about 1 spool's length, so 1 full rotation of the spool should be enough wire. And that's for both the left and the right earring. So we'll clip off that. And then to make sure that we have our wires are even, what we do is we kiss the 2 points together there. And zip tie, pretty short zipper over here, just zip. And then we get that loop at the other end and we clip that in half, and now we have, look at that, 2 evenly proportioned wires. All right, so here's the challenge, since I've never done the wire wrapping live before, is that I gotta pay attention to your comments. Hello, Glory, and Ashley. Welcome to the channel. So here, we're just gonna do, apologies. All right, so we're gonna do just a little hook on our finger pliers. This is what I call the rounded finger pliers. Different from the flats, because they're both needle nose pliers, but one are the rounded fingers and one are the flats. So with our rounded pliers, we're gonna create this little hook. You can see it's not a full circle there. And with that little gap, we're just gonna slide our charm right on there. And then we're gonna take our pliers and wedge them back in there with the charm intact, and then we're gonna close that loop. In fact, we're actually gonna go ahead and do a double loop so that the wire wraps twice through the charm. I apologize for the focus. I am using just my simple phone camera for this live. So once we get our double wrapped, so what you can see is there's two coils there that are both passing through the loop in the charm there. And then once we get to, you can see right here where there's that little, that's the end of the wire. And then on the opposite end is where, at that same point is where we do, we've been rotating one way and then we rotate the other way is how we get the circular motion of the wire to go shoot the other direction. Now, because of these kinks right here, this might be a little challenging, but we'll see what the next step tells us. Is, oh, there was no issue at all. So the bead just slides on, and then now we're gonna grab our earring hooks. So these are some special earring hooks that are hypoallergenic. And in fact, this box it's all brand new. So I'm gonna, instead of opening that one, I'm just gonna grab the other one I have that I've already opened. And we're just gonna take out two of these guys. And then it's gonna be the same idea with attaching that charm on the other end where we curl a hook, right? Just almost closed. And then we'll attach our earring hook onto that hook. And then put our pliers back in there and then continue to curl all the way down to the bead. And then once we get to the bead, whatever direction we're curling, so you can see the rotation. So if I were to pinch down and then curl in that rotation, we curl all the way down to the bead, and then when we get to the bead, we're actually gonna bend in the opposite direction, just like we did before with the charm, how that continued its circular flow. And then if you could see right there where I twisted it the other direction right before I attached the bead. So we did the same thing on both ends. And that's really as simple as it comes. So now you have your one earring complete. And we're gonna take our other wire and pinch down. One thing I didn't mention before, but I'll mention it now, is the placement. Where are you gonna put the wire as far as the placement of the pliers? So you could see for me, it's just a little bit below halfway. And the purpose, the intention behind that is that this, for me, is kind of like the ideal size of that loop where it's big enough to fit the charm on, but it's not going to be an overly exaggerated or excessively large earring loop, this hook right here. So now what we're going to do is take our other foot charm and slide that on. Make sure our charm stays intact as we wedge our finger, our plier finger in there, and then close that gap. So this one, I'm looking at the earring loophole, and I'm thinking, that's a little bit too big, actually. Bigger than I would like. So actually what I'll do is squeeze the perimeter and then just kind of do a few tap, tap, tap squeezes, and that will shrink that loophole to a more appropriate size, something I like. So now we're gonna continue our coiling all the way until we meet the tip end. So you could see right there where there's that little shadow marks where the end of the wire tip is. And it's right there where we're gonna change direction change the flow of where the wire is. So you could see the wire was going in this rotation, and then right where it got to where we're ready to start the next step, it was going in here, and then it goes up, or in other words, the opposite direction. Then we'll attach our bead, and then one or two final steps right here where we create the hook, and then attach our earring hook, and then we'll close the wire hook into a full loop and just continue curling all the way down. And then when we get to the bottom, we're just going to do a little bend, and voila. So now you have some really special earrings for somebody who's in defeat. And what we'll do now is just box that up in one of our little gift boxes here. So for this gift box, you could see there's like a little H slit in there, and I use the sides of that H slit. So boom, earring hook goes in, and then on the other end, boom, earring hook goes in, and then you could play around with adjusting so that it displays well. So there we go. We have some earrings, very simple. With as slow as I went with this tutorial, it still only took 10 minutes, so gives you an idea of how fast you could bust out a bunch of earrings. You know, since I have these hooks out already, and I do need to make more earrings for my farmer's market table, so we'll just go ahead and make 2 more sets. So we're gonna go into our little mismatch set mystery bag, pull out, let's see, the mystery. Ooh, looks like some heart charms, very special. And some key charms, interesting. So since there's one that's gold, I'm gonna grab a little bit of gold wire. Again, this is the 20 gauge. And 1 full spool around should be good enough for both a full set of earrings, but since only one is gold, what we're gonna do is clip that off, and we'll set one of these wires. I'm gonna clip this in half, and then one of them will be used for these key earrings, and then the other one we'll just set it aside for a later time when we need to use more gold for earrings. So again, split or pinch down right on about the middle. The middle for this specific set of pliers is what works for me. Ultimately, it's going to be up to you. And then we'll grab our little heart key charm, which is pretty cute. And we're going to latch it on that hook there. And then stick our pliers back in there. And close the loop. And if you find that your loops are not like perfectly circular, such as you can see this one is not, maybe if it's more comfortable for you, you can use the flats, or you can use the rounded finger needle nose pliers, whichever one you're comfortable with, and just adjust that so that this loop right here is more perfectly circular and round. Now, it's not going to be a thing that ruins the jewelry if you allow the loop to be lopsided, but it will be something that you personally will notice. So it's up to you. Next, we're going to grab from our little bead bag. Let's go with some rose quartz. Rose quartz is all about love. And if we've got some keys with little hearts on it, it makes sense that there's a little love theme right there. Key to your heart. So now I've got my 2 little rose quartz beads. I'll stick one on that sticky tape there. And then thread the other one through this wire. And it looks like this wire, if you look closely, there's just a little arc on that tip, which is not allowing the bead to pass through. So you can just take care of that by pinching down with your flats. And then you can thread that bead right through, no problem. And this actually looks like quite a bit of wire, which is why I'm actually going to go further down towards the base. That will allow the loop to be a larger hook, right? And when it's a larger hook, it's going to eat up more length of the wire, which is my intention for this. So I'll stick the pliers back through and close that hook into a closed circle, and then just continue to rotate around. And when we get to the finish here, I'm gonna pinch down and then bend just a little bit. And now you can see, you know, actually the bead must have slid up because I don't want this gap here. So what I'll do is reverse that opposite bend and then pinch down more closer right here, and then just give it a little nudge, and now you can see that's more like what I want. Another thing too to consider is how the earring will hang. So if this is what goes through the ear, this is how it will face, and you'll want to face your charm, making sure that it's facing in the right direction. And that's just a simple how to do that, or how to set it, is just with your fingers pinching down on each side of these loops here and just giving it a little rotation in either direction, whatever direction works for you. And now, so you remember how I split that gold wire and I set one of the gold wires aside? Well, previously I had done that, and now I have this 20 gauge silver wire, which is perfect because we only need one. So we're gonna do the same thing where we choke up a little bit on down towards the base of the pliers, giving ourselves a wider loop. And then we'll take our little key heart charm and attach that onto the hook. And then we'll close that loop. Now, if you've been following along, then you can already tell where I'm going with this. We're just gonna keep on rotating. So one thing I haven't actually talked about yet, and I've been hesitant to, because it's kind of hard to catch it on camera what I'm saying, but you can see how if I were to put the needle nose pliers into this loop, it's gonna wanna go on one side or the other side of this charm. And so I always go for the side that makes it easier for me to continue this rotation without the charm itself getting in the way. And if you find that the charm is getting in the way, then you can just take the pliers out and then readjust and then go again. Now I've completed a full 2 coils. Now what I'm going to do is pinch down right where that tip end of the wire finishes, bend the wire up in the opposite direction of the flow we've been going in, and then attach the other little rose quartz charm. Let me get this sticky off my finger. And then we'll slide that bead on. And then now we're gonna set another hook, preparing for our earring hook to get attached. So now once again, we'll slide our needle nose pliers, finger through that loop, and close that hook, and then continue to curl it. Now here's where the hook, this is what I was just talking about, how the hook was actually getting in the way. So I just removed the pliers and then slide it in through the other side so that the hook is not an issue. Now we get to the bottom. We'll pinch down here and then just give it a little bend. And now, voila, we have our matching mismatch set of earrings. And you can see this one's already kind of faced the right way. And we'll grab another little box for this guy. Once again, I went with these boxes here. They have a little H slit, and we'll just on each side poke our earring hook into that slit, and then one for the other side. Boom. And now you have your cute little key to my heart earrings. All right, we'll do one more set of earrings. We've already got our charms out. We've got our hooks here. Let's just go ahead and complete the ensemble. Should we go with some more rose quartz? What do you think? There's a lot of beads in here. I'm gonna go with whatever I have matching. Oh, look at that. Well, that's actually a different size. I'll go back in and grab some more. There we go. I think I have 2 rose quartz. Same size. Boom, boom. Put the rest of the beads away. And there's silver. So we're gonna do one more full rotation of this spool. This is my 20 gauge zebra wire. So we unlatch it from this little hole here, do one full rotation, and then we'll thread it back through that latch hole and pull tight. And then with my clippers, I'll clip that. Boom. And then we're gonna kiss the 2 tips together to find a balance. So this is a pretty small wire. We'll make it work though. All that means is that for this round of earrings, my wire loops are gonna be smaller. So if you haven't figured it out by now, this is how you would make a loops bigger, but I want it smaller, so I'm gonna choke up on the pliers fingers more closer to the top where it's more narrow. So that's gonna create my hook to be smaller. See how that works? Then we're gonna take our little earring charm and thread it onto that hook. And then carefully put the pliers back through and close that hook and do one more full circle rotation. Now, I suppose technically you don't have to do a double rotation. It's kind of more just for me. That's how I like all my styles, all my wraps. Everything is like I made it up. I mean, not that I made it up and I was the original, but I'm just saying like I didn't go online and like watch somebody else do it or like learn. Nobody taught me. I just kind of developed my own style, and that's part of it. So if you notice what I did right there is there was a little kink in the wire, and I just took my flat pliers, and just pinched down on the wire to flatten it out. Now I'm gonna thread that bead through, and then once again we're gonna choke up on curling our hook so it's closer to the tip end, creating a smaller hook. That might be a little too small, so easy fix. I just slide it down and then reclose it. So that hook was a little bit too closed, so I opened it up a little bit with my fingers there, and now I'm gonna thread my earring hook through, and then I'm gonna continue to just pinch and roll all the way down to that rose quartz bead. And you see how I did that bend in the opposite direction. Now let's see, this is how it will sit. So that's actually, my charm is completely backwards. So here's how I will fix that. I'm gonna pinch down on these two loops and then just, so here I have it pinched, and then I'm gonna rotate like a full 180. And let's see, there you go. So now it's faced. One last charm. One last earring. And we've completed all the sets. So once again, we're choking it up. And then we got our little tiny hook. We'll thread our charm through there, a little heart charm. Thread that through. Then we close the loop. All the way around twice. Give it a little bend. And then we'll attach our rose quartz bead now. And then the final step. One last hook. And attach our earring hook. And then close that off. Boom. Grab my last box. And then slide these earring hooks through those H slits. And face our charm. And then boom. Now you've got something for grandma. All right, well, that's my live for today. I may or may not continue to do this lives in the future. My hope is that I'll get a bigger audience, a bigger live audience with some more feedback. And then if anybody has any specific questions on how I did what I did, then I could break it down in the moment, because that's where the teaching happens, or that's where the learning happens. Until next time.